convened to order. And for tonight's invitation, we have Pastor Ken Manning of the Taylorville Christian Church.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we honor you today for who you are, for all the blessings that you have provided for us. And we just thank you, Father, for the many blessings that you've given us in abundance, especially here in Taylorville, and for all the things that we have that we can enjoy and honor you with. We thank you for these men, Father, and for these leaders that you have provided for us. Thank you for their dedication to your people, to this city. And we pray that you will give them wisdom and guidance this evening as they contemplate and make decisions for all of us. Help them, Father, to make wise decisions that will honor you and that will be the best for all the people. We give you praise and thanks for all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Could you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Larry Bud.
Here.
Lauren Berger.
Here.
Larry Dorchenez.
Here.
Bob Kimberly.
Here.
Bruce Jones.
Here.
Jim Olive.
Here.
Mark Golder.
Here.
Earl Walters.
Here. All 8 Aldermen present. First thing we have is a motion to utilize the omnibus vote for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting that was listed on tonight's agenda under the title omnibus vote designation. We have a motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second by Alderman Jones. Discussion or comment? Roll call.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Larry Dorchenez.
Yes.
Rob Heatherly.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Mark Golder.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes. Motion passes 8-0. Okay, the minutes we'll be approving will be the minutes of the regular meeting held September 19th, 2016. Minutes of the Public Facilities Committee meeting held September 20th, 2016. And minutes of the Street and Sewer Committee meeting held September 20th, 2016. I entertain a motion to approve those minutes. So moved, John. Alderman Walters, second. Alderman Olive, discussion or comment? Roll call.
Larry Dorchenez.
Yes.
Rob Heatherly.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Mark Golder.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Okay, if you guys have watched the papers and watched the news a little bit here, we've got Mr. Dave Ryan here. Dave is the 2016 U.S. Senior Amateur Champion. I can't begin to put that feat in the proper context for those of you that don't play golf. I mean, this is the national level. You can't get any higher than this as an amateur. It's just absolutely incredible what he's been able to do. And of course, we know Dave locally, he's had a fantastic career anyway, but talk about icing on the cake, this is awesome. With that win, you know, he if I understand it right, he gets a 10-year exemption into the U.S. Amateur from here on, so he's going to be playing some more. And then he's also exempt from the next two U.S. Amateurs and the mid-amateurs and the 2017 U.S. Senior Open, and then he gets to go to the U.S. Open sectional qualifying. So he's got a lot of golf ahead of him. This opens up some more doors. So it's going to be fun. So what I'd like to do is read a proclamation and give it to him. Whereas Dave Ryan has competed at the very top level of amateur golf for years, and while doing so has repeatedly proven himself to be one of the nation's finest amateur golfers, and whereas he has earned a reputation as a player who is not only a fierce competitor on the course, but also a player who reflects the positive qualities of a true champion wherever he is. Whereas in addition to his already numerous victories at golfing venues throughout the state of Illinois and across the country, he has recently earned the prestigious title of U.S. Senior Amateur Champion. And whereas his ongoing success in the game of golf has been a continuing source of pride for the residents of Taylorville and Christian County, and whereas it is the desire of the members of the Taylorville City Council to publicly honor Dave Ryan for his tremendous accomplishments in the game of golf, and to thank him for being an outstanding ambassador for the sport and a positive role model for adults and children alike. So now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on this day, October 3rd, 2016, The mayor and the entire city council of Taylorville, on behalf of its citizens, do hereby proclaim this day as Dave Ryan Day in the city of Taylorville, and in recognition thereof, do hereby present him with an honorary key to the city. So Dave, if you'll meet me here, we'll do your presentation.
President, a picture here. Okay. My picture with a U.S.
The only thing I can say is I'm having a hard time putting my arms around this. It's kind of unbelievable for a guy from Taylorville to have won this tournament. And the thing that stands out the most for me is my wife Amy is here with me, and I was having a little trouble in one of the matches, and she came up to me and said, "Believe in yourself, and you're just as good as anybody else." And that kind of carried me through. I've got a lot of people to thank. I really don't know where to start, but I think that's about it.
I called Dave and asked him to be here tonight. His first question was, "Now, do I have to say anything?" But golf's a wonderful game, that's for sure. In fact, I got a couple quotes here. It says, "Golf is the closest game to the game that we call life. You get bad breaks from good shots, you get good breaks from bad shots, but you have to lay the ball where it is, or where it lies." That's from Bobby Jones. And then this one is good when we're, especially in an election. We look at our two candidates for president, and I guarantee if they passed this test, I'd have more confidence. It says, "Golf is the infallible test. The man who can go into a patch of rough alone with the knowledge that only God is watching him and play his ball where it lies is the man who will serve you faithfully and well." And then Hank Aaron's kind of described my part of the game. He said, "It took me 17 years to get 3,000 hits in baseball. It took me one afternoon on the golf course." Moving on. Next thing we have is a resolution on tuck pointing the street department building. And need a motion for that resolution.
Second, Your Honor.
Olive, second by Alderman Walters. Discussion or comment? Roll call.
Bob Heatherly?
Yes.
Bruce Jones?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Mark Voda?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Burdell?
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Next, we have a resolution to contract for repair of the roof coping at the Taylorville Police Department. Any motion on that?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bertle. Discussion or comment? Roll call.
Bruce Jones?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Mark Voda?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Burdell?
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Bob Heatherly?
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Next, we have an ordinance ratifying the adoption of the City of Taylorville 2006 Comprehensive Plan and adopting an amendment to the said 2006 Comprehensive Plan. Is there a motion for that ordinance?
So moved.
Alderman Jones, second by Alderman Bud. Discussion or comment? Roll call.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Mark Voda?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Burdell? Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Bob Heatherly?
Yes.
Bruce Jones?
Yes.
And the mayor?
One of your votes, yes. Motion passes 9-0. Okay, next we have an ordinance authorizing farm leases for the airport and lake area farm property.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Closing in a second.
Second, Your Honor.
Alderman Walters, discussion and comment? Roll call.
Mark Voda?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Burdell?
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Bob Heatherly?
Yes.
Bruce Jones?
Yeah.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Mayor Brothers?
Yes. Motion passes 9-0. Okay, next we have an ordinance establishing the salary for mayor of the city of Taylorville. And so I guess we have the ordinance. I believe what we're waiting for now is to plug in the numbers. Is that correct?
Well, you have the same ordinance that you had in Taylorville, but you want to change that, it's just a matter of, you can do that by intermediation, crossing it out,
Okay.
inserting a different number.
So even though it didn't get enough votes at the last meeting and we ended up tabling a couple versions, do we go back to that initial motion and the dollar set in there, or is it open for someone to make one?
Well, I think you table this, so this ordinance comes back up as is.
Okay. And I believe that salary, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, was $58,000 a year on the initial motion.
Yes, sir.
All right, does someone want to make that motion tonight?
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Bud, is there a second on that motion? Alderman Olive, discussion or comments?
Not your comment.
Alderman Burke.
And it's basically the same comment I made the last meeting, but I'll just kind of rehash it and try to make it quick. I want everyone else to get out here tonight. You know, my thought on this is that, you know, any other job, as far as like superintendent or help that we have in the city, there's a set of qualifications that goes for this job. When you're an elected official, there is no qualifications. You don't have to have any kind of skills. You hope that they do, but you don't, it's not required. And I just think it would behoove us, instead of raising it to 58, maybe raise it to 50. And the person that runs for mayor and gets that position, if that person does an outstanding job, I wouldn't have a problem raising it to $58. But I just have we've had this position nearly up to $70,000 in the past. And didn't get us any worse or better candidates than we currently have and than we've had in the past. So just by throwing an arbitrary number at the wall and hoping that sticks, and that's gonna get us a better candidate, I don't think is a good way to do it. I think, you know, you prove your ability once you get in the job, and after 4 years, if that person does an outstanding job, give them more money, I don't have a problem with it. I just think that we're raising the salary too much, too fast at one time, and if we got it incrementally, it would be a better situation.
Alderman Jones.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with Sean because he's got a lot of valid points in his argument. The one thing that you can't do is you can't say that this guy did a good job for 4 years, so we'll give him more money because number one, he has to win an election. You have to set that salary at least 180 days before the said election. And it doesn't mean that once you raise that salary, that guy may have something in his life that doesn't allow him to run for mayor again. So now you've raised the salary in hopes that someone that you like and is doing a good job is going to get reelected, and now you don't have them in there, and you have a higher salary. The one thing that you have to do is you have to put the salary to the position. Regardless of who is in there, you have to do that. Now, you know, like I said, Sean has a lot of valid points about qualifications, and some people think that it's a popularity contest. Hopefully people vote for who they feel is going to do the best job for them. So, although I'm probably gonna vote yes for this $58,000, but in the interest of compromise, if this doesn't pass, if they wanna lower that down, I'm fine with that, but I believe 50,000 is a little low, so I think we need to be somewhere between the 52 and the 55 level. But I just wanted to make those points that you're not doing this for a person, you're doing this for a position.
Anyone else? Alderman Dorchenez.
I'd like to see the salary left alone. I believe that the job is a part-time job. A lot of people would disagree with me, and so I'm gonna vote no, and hopefully it fails, and I would make a motion to leave the salary alone.
Anyone else? Alderman Dorchenez.
Correct me if I'm wrong, we can set this at 50 and have incremental increases per year for the 4-year term, correct?
If you do that 180 days before,
Okay, so at this point, we could do that.
you could do that.
So if we wanted to start at 50, 52, 54, 56,
You could do that.
okay, and that is another option, gentlemen, that if we don't start right at 58, keep it at 58,000 for 4 years. Just food for thought.
Alderman Heberlin.
I'm kind of torn both ways. I don't feel strongly both ways like some of my friends, but I think that, and $58,000 is a nice salary, but if we're trying to draw someone in who's got the qualifications for the position of the mayor, I don't think it's high enough. And what
really would like to see us to do is perhaps raise it to $50,000, but encourage someone who really wants to do good by the city of Taylorville. And then we have some competent people that would run for mayor with that level of salary. I don't think it's a part-time position, because from your activities, Greg, in the past 8 years, I mean, you certainly have went far and above any part-time position. But I'd like to see us take that to $50,000.
Anything else?
May I just interject
Yeah.
one thing on the part-time issue? If you look carefully at the ordinance that's drafted here, it talks about ordinance 2945 remaining in effect. If you go back and look at that ordinance, that requires the mayor position to be a full-time position. And that the person who's elected to that position cannot have any other outside employment. So whoever runs for this position, whatever salary level that you're providing for that office, that will be the sole source of income for that individual. By your previous ordinance, it's been kept ongoing for many years. It is a full-time position.
Alderman Jones.
Comment. So you're saying that if we have a highly capable woman that wants to run for the city of Taylorville, she has a side business selling Avon, she can't do that anymore?
According to your ordinance that you adopted many years ago, ordinance number 2945, that is correct.
That's when we put it to a full-time position.
That is correct. Right.
Okay.
And that was to justify that higher level of income at that time, as I
Exactly.
recall.
Yes.
That it was to be a full-time and
Well,
attend all meetings.
Yeah, I thought it was, I believe when we did that and we had the intent, and you were the senior note taker and writer on that, if I believe.
I believe I drafted it, yes.
Yes. So
At
I believe
your
what we were
discretion.
talking about was someone holding down another full-time job, or a part-time job that would interfere with the mayor's, you know, attending the meetings and stuff like that. I believe that with some of these home-based businesses, that we really shouldn't take away one's opportunity to do something that they love out of their home that does not interfere with their position as mayor. I understand what you're saying is what the ordinance says.
And you're free to change that ordinance too, but I mean, that is what everybody understand, that the current lay of the land right now is that is a full-time position, no outside income.
Okay.
Alderman Bertle.
With that little tidbit information, do we have to change that 180 days out, or can we change that anytime?
You would need to change that.
Because I agree with Alderman Jones on that. I don't think we should, I understand not having another full-time position somewhere else. But if somebody does something in the evenings or on the weekends or out of their home or something like that, I don't think we should be able to, I can't think it's legal, number one, but I don't think that we should hinder them from having that opportunity to do that. I understand that we don't want them to work two full-time positions at two different locations and cut into the mayor's time that they could be here. But I don't think we should keep them from doing something outside their side work or, you know, something that's on their off time. It doesn't seem legal to me, because
Well,
I'm
let
not
me-
an attorney.
It is legal.
Okay.
And if you would stop and think that if you would hire any CEO in any major company that has the budget of the city of Taylorville size and the managerial responsibilities, the number of employees that you're in charge of, most companies would want a full-time CEO, would restrict that CEO from working elsewhere and devote 100% of its time, effort, and thinking for the company. I think that was the thought process back then, when you guys adopted 2945.
And that was back when our salary was nearly $70,000.
It was, at that time, it started out at 60, if I recall, and worked its way up.
That's part of my point earlier. You fast forward to today, we got a mayor doing this job for $46,000. He's done a fantastic job. We got a mayor at nearly 70, and I'm not saying he was any better or any worse than the current mayor. And we pinned him down where he can only have one job, so I just think that the 58,000 is too much. I think we need to bring it down a bit. And Bruce is right. You can't tell somebody that they're going to run for office again, and you don't know whether they're going to win. But you know, since I've been on the council, it seems like if you do a decent job and you run for re-election, Normally you have a sense on who's going to run again, if they're interested in running for the mayor position a second time. You'll probably know that before 180 days out, that they're interested and maybe trying to rerun for that position, so you could raise that salary then in anticipation that maybe that individual would run for mayor again and actually win that race, so. I just think 58 is too much, you know, Mark made a good point, we can step it up, you know, 50 people or whatever.
Well, the motion we have on the table to vote either up or down is at the 58,000 salary, so unless someone's got a question, you go ahead.
Okay, with the thought of changing that ordinance, would we be able to amend this motion to include the amending of that ordinance? Mr. Attorney?
I've just pulled up the ordinance
Okay.
that I had here, let me just paraphrase it for you, so it kind of covers what Bruce was talking about. This was adopted back in year 2000, February 22nd. And it said the office of the mayor, I'm going to paraphrase here, is established as a full-time position, has to actually work for the city on a full-time basis and shall keep and maintain regular hours, 8:30 to 4:30, not less than 40 hours a week. In addition to attendance at city council meetings, committee of the whole, and any committee meetings that the mayor attends, except if he's sick or ill, or he or she, shall have a regular office at the city hall and shall not have any other outside non-city employment or business requiring more than an average of 5 hours per week of his or her time. And otherwise, the mayor shall devote the whole of his or her time to management of city affairs. And in consideration of that full-time position, you set the salary at that point at $55,000 starting out. Then it went to $56,650, $58,349, and then the last year in 2005, it was $60,999. So there was some
So there's
leeway
some
for an
leeway.
outside business right now.
5 hours a week.
But the idea was full-time
Sure.
commitment to the city for that kind of stuff.
Okay, so as long as there is a little bit of leeway there, I didn't want to take that away from
It's in.
someone. Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Anyone else before we have a roll call? Ronaldo.
We supported this committee and will again tonight, thinking that the 58,000, to me, I don't see that as a lot of money. I mean, for somebody to spend the hours that the mayor's job takes, I mean, the 40 hours you talked about, that doesn't begin to cover how many hours that Greg or whoever would come into the office puts in. And I think we talk about trying to, attract someone of a young age. $58,000 is not, especially if it's a young man, they got a young family, and the wife is home taking care of the children. $58,000 is no money at all. So I would definitely be supporting the 58,000.
Don't talk for employees. Yeah. Anyone else for
Just had a
Alderman
clarification
Walters?
for the city attorney.
Yes, sir.
The leeway that Alderman Jones was talking about is stopped at 5 hours per week.
Average of 5 hours per
Okay,
week.
5 hours per week.
Average, right,
Okay.
per week.
All right, you ready? Roll call, please.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
No.
Marty Dorchenez.
No.
Rob Heatherly.
No.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Boda.
I was counting.
Yes.
All right, so I got it right, passes 5-3. All right, move on to motion regarding manhole replacement, is located just off Route 29 north of the link at Taylorville.
I'll make that motion. I don't speak to the issue for my fellow Alderman.
Okay, a second on that? Alderman Bud, go ahead, Alderman Walters, if you.
Thank you, Your Honor. For some period of time here, we've been noticing an odor out in that particular area, across from Burton Eddy, where the railroad crossing is. I'm not talking about the one that's damaged. And we thought at one time it was going to be coming from our lift station, but Superintendent Wiseman has investigated that, and the odor is not coming from our lift station in that general vicinity. So in further investigation with the continued odor coming from it, he and his people went down and traipsed through the brush and went down to the manhole. It's a 4-foot diameter manhole, rather deep in the ground. Found out that because of age and weather and effluent coming into it, and corrosion, that there was a hole that had been blown in the manhole. And with that being done, we also found that when that particular system is operating, that it was pushing, let's just use a nice term, debris up and out through the manhole. So we had to get down there, and Superintendent invited me to come out to the site. So I traipsed all the way down there through the mud and the brush and whatever. Actually on the site, actually saw the damage firsthand, and it needed to be repaired. So we put a temporary manhole cover on top of it until we can do something with the manhole itself. What we're talking about doing is putting in, this is a sanitary sewer, of course, putting in a brand new manhole. It'll be approximately 11 feet tall and 4 foot in diameter. And it'll take quite an effort to get equipment and machinery down there. It was all I could do to get down there and back up with the slope and the rocks and the debris and everything else. We had to cut our way, his people had to cut their way down there through the brush to get down to the site. So it needs to be taken care of. We can't wait, we can't dilly-dally around, it's not gonna get any better. Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other comments before? Alderman Haverly.
Source of funds at Spatial Sewer Project Fund. Okay.
Alderman Jones.
Well, after reading this, the description is remove and replace the existing 4 foot diameter manhole, and you turn it over, and this is the job conditions. It says supply labor and equipment to remove and replace one existing 4 foot diameter manhole, and that's gonna be $12,565. Not included are all the bonds, the permits, which, you know, I'm not sure if that's gonna cost anything, because we can waive the permit because we're doing it for ourselves. We are supplying the material, from what I understand. Are we also supplying the loader and the operator, the hauling off of the spoil and debris, the final grading, seeding, and tree clearing? So the city is going to do, are we cutting our way in there?
We
or
done,
their way in
we
there?
done half.
Huh?
We done half.
Okay. But we're not gonna do the actual work of digging it out and putting it in?
No.
Are they gonna use our machine?
No, they're bringing theirs down.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying, it talks about a loader, it doesn't include a loader with our operator. My question was, how are they gonna do it without a loader and an operator?
We're gonna use our track loader and our operator to take rock down to them.
Okay. Okay, well, I just wanna make sure, because
Yeah.
if you look at that, they can't do that job with the things that they
Yeah.
included.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Alderman Walters.
In point of interest, this would have been an ideal, perfect situation for the type of machine that Superintendent Alan Jackson wants out there for the lake. And we had to go in there with the brush hog and cut our way through the trees and brush and everything else. It was one heck of a job. Thank you.
Alderman
On the financing again, we're coming out of the sewer project fund or the sewer usage fund?
Sewer project fund, it's
Okay.
coming out of that, interest money.
And that interest money, this is where it gets cloudy, guys. It gets real cloudy.
$115,000 is
Okay,
left.
that interest money I thought was already earmarked for another project, either the Ward 5 finishing up that or a lift station. No? That's why we need this list. We don't have a list of these projects that we got this money earmarked for, and then when we come to these votes, we don't have that in front of us, so we need that in front of us.
This,
Yes, Alderman Haverly.
we did pay for those lift station repairs out of this fund. But when I mentioned earlier or asked where it was coming from, I thought it was coming out of your special projects fund in your sewer budget.
No. This is
That's
coming
what I
out
was
of
told
the,
yes to.
huh?
That's what I was told yes to. So are they coming out of that interest fund?
It's coming out of that interest fund that we was using out on, Central Avenue. That's what the treasurer talked to me about.
Why wouldn't it come out of the special projects fund?
We could, if you wanted to. It don't make no difference to me.
On the special project.
Well, you can amend the motion if that's where you want to come from.
I don't really care where it comes from either, I'm just asking where it's coming from, but usually when we ask a question like this, we get this cloudy answer. And I think that's what we're having trouble with the storm sewer project in phase 5. And all I'm saying is that it would be nice to have a simple piece of paper, just like this one, and these projects on there, and where that money's coming from, and how much those projects are gonna cost, even if we're not even gonna do them. This is what we're thinking about that. But we don't have that, and we need that.
phase 5 was never coming out of that interest fund. But to clarify, when I asked earlier if this was coming out of the special projects fund, out of the sewer budget, I was told yes. But I asked again, is that where it's coming out of?
We can, like I said, we can. It's up to her,
Who's her?
the treasurer.
So when you make a don't you direct her though where that's coming from?
No.
She's the one that allocates that?
Mhm.
Thank you.
I mean, do we want to direct her to do it?
I think we need to know where it's coming from. And I don't care, but when I'm told yes, and then I find out it's not yes, it's someplace else, it just kind of.
I would like some more comes up, that way everybody knows.
Well, do we want to go ahead and approve it through the special project fund, and if for some reason she tells us we can't, then we'll bring the financing part of it back?
Well, in the sewer,
Yeah.
in the sewer, this is the report we just got, and this is as of August 31st. We had $1,137,757.36 left in that fund.
Is that the non-home rule municipal sales tax now?
No, that's the sewer special projects.
But Larry, if you would go up about 10 line items, there's another special projects fund up there for about $500,000.
Maintenance,
Yes,
and there's $518,551.53.
and that's where I thought this was coming out of.
There's money in both of those accounts still.
The phase 5 that Alderman Burley spoke of earlier is that $1,149,000 that's in the budget.
Okay, you're right, that's correct. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But there's still 518,000.
Yes.
In that fund.
So do we want to approve this and let her choose where it's coming from, just report back to us? Is that what we're going to do?
I'm okay, just so we know where it's coming
So we'll go ahead and approve the motion, and we'll just let the treasurer decide which fund and report back to us which fund she took it out. Is that good?
Mr.
All right.
President,
Yes.
excuse me, the motion, it includes the contractor to sign the requisite city contract for a certificate of insurance and pay their billing wages. Yes, it does.
All right, any other questions? We have a motion by Alderman Walters, second by Alderman Bud. Roll call, please.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Bob Heatherly.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Mark Miller.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Brings us to city attorney updates.
Gentlemen, the mayor and I attended the Illinois Municipal League Conference. Happy to report it was a very worthwhile conference again. He and I both attended, he came with me to the attorney session. And then there was another seminar a day later, I believe, on the subject of video gaming. And we also had the opportunity to talk to a couple of lawyers that was with the Illinois Municipal League about the topic. I've been asked to attend the ordinance meeting on the 12th, which I'll be there. Before then, I hope to give you a hopefully short, succinct legal memorandum summarizing what we learned up there. But suffice it to say that the case that we referred to a meeting or two ago, the Village of Elmwood Park case that dealt with the question of whether or not a non-home rule municipality can regulate video gaming or video cafes, that they call them, their video gaming cafes. That is the topic, and there's no clear answer to that, quite frankly. You have diverse opinions, both from the gaming board, we attended one session with the actual gaming board, and the two that was taught by other attorneys. We have some good ideas about what we can do, perhaps, and that's what I hope to bring to the table on that Thursday, about how we can allow video gaming and video cafe and still maintain the integrity of our definition of tavern and restaurant to the liquor license, but it's going to have to be a little bit of tweaking of what we have now, but I think we might come up with some kind of a solution to that. One good thing that I think we and I learned in kind of an offhand discussion with a couple of the attorneys up there, we understand that the Illinois Municipal League is going to propose a law that will create all communities, towns, cities, villages that exceed 5,000 population will automatically become home rule. So that's a good thing. Now, we don't know if that's going to pass or not, but we were told that that's on the table that they're trying to get through. There is some lobbying from the real estate folks that are opposing that, we understand. but, you know, the rule right now is 25,000. And as we've been talking, every time, I hate to bring bad news to you, but you have to be able to find a little pigeonhole in the statute to allow you to do things unless you're home rule. So this could solve a lot of our problems. We also learned of some vacant property seminar. We felt comfortable leaving that what we're doing now with that new statute that I pointed out, we're right on target with that. And in fact, we discussed our situation up there, and so I think we're moving forward with that. I'm going to give Pam several documents that I picked up. I snuck into her city clerk session. I missed her, she wasn't there, but we got the material for her. But I would encourage you to get a copy of it, because it's got a lot of summary of all these little laws and stuff. When you're gonna make motions, it's pretty good. So, I think I'll have more to talk about this at the ordinance committee, but that should suffice. Any questions about that?
Yeah?
Okay, I'm done.
All right. Okay. Move on to mayor updates. I just got 3 quick things to hit on. First of all, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast cancer is the second most common kind of cancer in women. About 1 in 8 women born today will get breast cancer at some point. The good news is that many women can survive breast cancer if it's found and treated early. So our goal is to raise the awareness and urge women to take the steps needed to detect breast cancer early. So historically, we've been wearing pink shirts if you're here on Friday, so I think we'll probably do that again with the idea of raising awareness. Next thing I have is, obviously we're going into the election season, and kind of remind people, I've started seeing a lot of election signs out, and a lot of them are creeping onto the boulevards. We have a rule that you can't put them on the boulevards. And section 4-10-3 in the prohibited acts, it says that political advertisements you can't put them on a post, pole, street sign, curb, sidewalk, or any other public property. So I will relay that to our police officers and tell them to ask them to move it. The flip side is if they have it in their own yard, they can have it in their own yard year round. There have been some people talking about well, we should just have a certain period of time, a month before the election or something. But in 2010, Governor Quinn signed the law that said they could have them there as long as they want. So I think that's where we are on that one.
And there was a whole session on that topic at the municipal attorney session about the signs and what the signs could and could not say. So it is a hot topic about the state.
Imagine that, they don't have anything else to do.
That's right.
Not like we need a budget.
And finally, Chili Fest. I want to commend Patty Hornbuckle and anyone who helped with the Chili Fest this past weekend. We were lucky and the weather cooperated. We had just a fantastic turnout. Extend a special thanks to Alderman Earl Walters, who spent countless hours up there and donated lots of time, as he does every year, it seems like, for us. And they know they can go to Earl and get something done. And on behalf of the city, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I've got. Let's move on to committee reports. Discussions and or motions to approve, adopt, and or deny, and or table, and or amend, and refer to an appropriate committee in whole or in part the matters regarding the following subject matters discussed at committee level. We'll start with the Public Facilities Committee.
Thank you. We have a contractor with George Yard for a municipal building heating and cooling system yearly contract to inspect all of the 11 heating and air conditioning units that we presently have. I'd like to put that in form of a motion.
A second? Second. Bud, discussion or comment?
That motion, I think, includes the requirement of certificate of insurance if you're
Correct.
going wages. I
Correct.
talked to City Clerk about that today.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Rob Heflin.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Mark Voda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0.
Okay, we also have a contract with George Yard to place metal caps on old ductwork in the municipal building for the sum of $1,055. Just to, so everybody knows what this consists of, if you go down into the boiler room, when the old boiler system, heating and air conditioning system was removed from the building, it was just taken off, and everything going up through the building is still open. So when the fan's down there running, it is pulling air from you don't know where in the building. But that's what this is for. I'd like to also put that in form of a motion.
same amendment.
Yes, it's the same amendment.
Do a second on that motion?
Second, Your Honor.
Alderman Walters, discussion or comment? Roll call.
Larry Dorchenez.
Yes.
Rob Heatherly.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Sam Olive.
Yes.
Mark Voda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Moving on to Street and Sewer Committee.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have two motions this evening. I'd like to make a motion to allow Superintendent Wiseman to seek bids to sell a 1977 Case 580 backhoe.
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion or comment?
Just a question.
Okay, with Alderman Heatherly first and then your question.
And this will contain the normal caveat that we have the right to refuse, accept or refuse all bids.
Yes.
Is there the possibility that whatever these bids are is lower than what we could get for a trade-in? Can we then refuse those bids and then use this for a trade-in?
Yes. And I think, if I might interject something here, and I think Alderman Walters meant to say that the motion is to direct the city attorney to prepare an ordinance to allow the seeking of bids to sell the 1977 Case 580 backhoe. And just so you know, I'm not making this up, I passed out again a copy of the statute before the meeting. Under 11A76-4 of the state statute, we have to adopt an ordinance to authorize this sale that declares that this is no longer useful to the city. And Alderman Headley is correct, good question. If you decide that you want to reject any of the bid, you can reject it for whatever reason, in your sole discretion, and then turn around and see if you can trade it. But you have to do an ordinance first, and that's what you're asking me to do.
That's my motion.
I've heard that.
As you know, I really don't like that, but I guess again, because it's law, we haven't done that for 20-some years. I've been on the city council.
Oh, you did it 8 years before when I was there.
Yes, we have.
But you had a little bit of lull there for a while, but,
So what we can do, we can reject all of this, and we can do what we want to do.
yeah.
Positively, so we're just wasting time to go through the motions to get back to where I wanted to be to start with.
Well, no, don't misunderstand. If you want to reject the bids, yes, and then you turn around and you want to trade it in, that same statute tells you that you're still gonna have to seek bids to trade it in. I'm not making this up. Look at the last paragraph, last sentence.
Alderman Heatherly.
If, let's just say we get bids on this, and the highest bid we get is $10. But then we know from past experience that we could get $20 on the trade-in. And we've had 2 vendors that's given us quotes, and in both cases, their trade-in value was around $20. So that's
If what I'm hearing you say now is to, the bids are gonna be from the same vendors that you want to trade in for in the first place. Over the quotes. I can create in the ordinance that we solicit for a sale, but we have the right to reject those and instead use that dollar amount for a trade-in and have it all in the same ordinance without going through a second time. If that's what you want. I can do that.
We know what the value of that trade-in would have been from the quotes that we previously received.
Right.
So we would have the opportunity to reject these bids if they were lower than what the previous quotes were.
But in that same ordinance, to avoid having to go through this a second time, I can create some language that would say that we will use that number for a trade-in. But if I recall the motion a meeting or 2 ago, this was all tabled, so you wanted to know about the audits. I just wanted to be one of those do this now, and until you make that decision, if you really want to do the trade-in. But that's up to you folks.
I want to proceed. I'm tired of Ms. Tilly dialing around. I want to proceed with
Your
this.
motion's on the table, you have a
Yes.
second, so
All right.
I'm not stopping.
No.
Alderman Voda, comment.
Well, the one question is an answer is I want to make sure this was the same unit we were talking about being traded in. But clarification on this, if we refuse any and all bids, okay, and we go back, are we obligated to bid that for purchase as a trade? Or can we go to the original quote that we had and use that price that we had received in the bid? I think that's what you're trying to find out, is if we can utilize the same option we have prior to on the original bid, as opposed to, from what I'm understanding, if we refuse any and all bids and we want to trade that in, that we have to go out and get bids.
Yeah, because what you're gonna be bidding at that point is I'm gonna, bidding for a new backhoe and accept this backhoe as a trade-in. That's the last sentence of this statute.
And I understand that, but if I recall,
Now, so what I'm saying is,
it's not a
you want
new,
me to?
it's not a new backhoe we're looking at, it's a used.
Well, it doesn't make any difference, you were,
Okay.
you were used, you're gonna buy
So
an
you would have to
article,
bid.
and a trade-in article.
You'd have to
That
scope it.
requires- That requires competitive bids, but if that's your goal here, then I can put that way in the ordinance, and either sell it outright or you use as a trade-in value. But I thought that whole issue, you were waiting to see what the audit did, but you wanna look for it, so.
Well, we're still, we're still waiting for this audit, we're still waiting for this analysis, we're still waiting for the development, we're waiting.
All
So
right.
you got a motion to go forward, so if that get passes, I'll draft the ordinance for it.
All right, thank you.
Any comment before we do the roll call?
One.
On the roll.
It's the same thing I said the last time, if we're waiting on this audit, which it sounds like now we're not, but the last time we were, and the meeting before that we were. I don't know why these motions keep coming up until that happens. Why do we keep bringing up equipment purchases if we're waiting on this magical audit, but that's kind of what it is, because it's gonna decide a whole lot, it sounds like.
And I think there's, I mean, there's going to be that. I think some members of the council here, they don't even want to buy equipment. But I think it was kind of split. I think we were looking at the long-term financing of two major projects was kind of what we were looking at the audit for. But, you know, again, at least part of them were going to say, hey, I don't want to spend any money until I know what we got, so.
Aren't we still, if I may, aren't we still looking at another type of audit on individual funds?
Yes.
Okay, so until that one's completed, in reference to your concern, we aren't done with these audits.
Right.
We still have an audit we're waiting to complete. I don't even know if it's begun yet or we've approved it, but I think that was where we were right now. We're looking at the individual funds now and how they're being utilized and where we're at with those funds.
So that's where we are.
Okay.
Still there.
On the,
But the actual audit will, Mr. Hooper will be here next Wednesday to give the actual audit for last year. And that will let us know whether we overspent or underspent last year, whether we're in the black or whether we're in the red. And if you looked at the reports that were coming in, it looked like we were in the red last year, when you looked at the funds that were coming out of the accounts. The audit next week will let us know whether we were that, whether we had in the black or we were in the red. This special audit that we looked at to see what the general funds look like through the accounts. And we're expanding that to look at every account to see whether or not the funds, the money is coming in that support these other accounts. That's all that next audit's to do, is to support well, we have 38 different accounts, if you look at that. And they're going to look at these accounts and see whether the revenue stream is being able to match those expenditures from those accounts, or what we need to do there. So, the audit we really need to look at is next week. Let us know whether or not last year we were in the black or in the red.
So if that's the important audit, then why are we spending money to get these other special audits?
Because there was one still in council that wanted to see how the other accounts were being used. Just
and, you know, when we did ask them, we said, you know, what you've done here, does it say without a doubt that we're funding? And they were the ones that said, we can't really answer that unless we also look in the other funds. We looked in your general fund, because that's what we thought your initial question was.
Well, if that's the case, Your Honor, then every time we have a vote, let's go ahead and include these additional things so we don't have to dilly-dally and wait for these things to come in.
Well,
Just anticipate that in advance and add it on to the amount of money that we pay for the audit and do it at that particular time. Then we know right then.
We could probably do that. And it'll be easier going forward. In fact, that's one one thing she was trying to do is to get things set up so that the treasurer, whoever's in that office, now knows what numbers to look at to keep us educated on
On a monthly report.
it. Right.
If, once this is done, the monthly report will be more thorough of how the accounts are doing, how we're setting in each account. Right now, we don't get that report, but is it Iris?
Yeah.
Is going to take and set it up with Jackie or with the treasurer's office and have it to where we'll have a monthly report to be able to track those accounts. Right now, we can't.
Your Honor, how long is it gonna be before we have all this in hand?
Well, I think for the middle of next finance committee,
Well, it wouldn't be this one here coming up, it'll be November.
one in November. I know Iris was here, and it's been about 3 hours in, was it last week, I think, end of last week.
Yeah.
Ron, you have something?
Well, I thought you said November, I thought you were talking about next week. I was gonna
That's the
say-
regular audit.
Okay, I was gonna say, if that's all you needed, the motion can pass, it won't come up for a vote till the 17th. If you guys decide to not enough money, I didn't start on the work on the ordinance until someone gives me a go ahead, but now you're talking November, so, that would work, suggestion.
Alderman Dorchenez.
We discussed this very issue with the streets, or, I don't know why we're doing it again tonight. The motion that's on the city council agenda for this evening reflects what happened at the meeting. And the meeting was seek bids to sell the 1977 backhoe. Okay, that's the motion he's making. If you look at the minutes from the meeting, it said request to purchase a used backhoe, which that's what we're talking about tonight. It said the purchase of a used backhoe was tabled until the audit analysis is complete. So why are we chewing this up again tonight?
Well, this is the sell.
Because I think the question came up, Alderman Dorchenez, is that you rejected the bids, could you use that as a trade-in?
I know, but why are we spilling into this? We shouldn't be. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we gotta wait till the audit. And you're just gonna start making these motions based upon that. We've been doing that. I don't know how many we got stacked up now. It's in a holding pattern. We're waiting for that. I can't even remember.
Would you entertain a motion to call for the question? Let's get this moved on.
Yeah, that's the question.
I'll call for the question.
Second, third.
Roll call.
Rob Heatherly.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Voda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Martin Dorchenez.
Yes. That was easy. Motion passes 8-0.
I understand what it is, it's just to seek bids to sell,
Right,
That's it.
not for trade.
That's it.
Okay.
next motion.
I'd like to make a motion, Your Honor, to accept the low bid of one, put my reading glasses back on, gentlemen. Motion to accept the low bid of $135,256.76 from P.H. Broughton and Son for asphalt for the East Main Cross project.
Yeah. Got a second on
Upon
that?
execution of the requisite contract, furnishing performance and payment bond, certificate of insurance, and the issuance of a notice to proceed.
That's my motion.
That's what I thought.
And that was Alderman Bud second. So, any questions or comments? Alderman Bertle.
You know, for this kind of money for that project, $35,000, we should be doing more asphalt work, a lot more. And we don't do enough asphalt work. So if asphalt is this low, then we need to be doing more of it, guys, a lot more of it.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Voda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Martin Dorchenez.
Yes.
Rob Heatherly.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Finally, we have a motion to approve and ratify payment of bills in the amount of $257,287.30. Bud, second by Alderman Bertle, go to the comment, Alderman Bud.
Insurance, $117,467.21. Healthcare tax, $1,543.27. Illinois Public Risk for workers' comp November, $23,071. Total insurance is $142,081.48. Electric, $3,081.91. Telephone, $1,911.22. Garbage, $2,028. Walmart, Ron's, and Big R for miscellaneous, $1,105.79. Computer Tech, $1,705.77. Don and Jackie Broadus, real estate tax, 17 of 20 years, $1,213.57. Hart, South Ward, Witzman legal fees for the 30-inch in Phase 5, $1,562.50. Jenner Ag for a safety trailer and parts, $2,018.92. Altor for $5,212.88. Green and Bradford, $9,810.25. United Capital Funding. This is formerly Unique Temporary Services. It's changed names. $11,308.68, and this takes us back to August the 8th. Police Department, NSYNC Systems for support and maintenance, $4,750. Keesler's Police Supply for ammo, $10,348.40. Verizon Wireless, $1,026.26. Fire Department, promos 911. Fire Prevention Supplies, $1,176.12. Water Department, Corpro Company for service contract, $2,385. Midwest Meter for supplies, $1,284.62. Chemicals, $14,610.58. Sewer Department, PBI, $2,136.73. Bonaventure Engineering for a new pump for the spillway and maintenance on Pershing Road, $16,861.26. And Cemetery Doug Hughes for tree removal, $2,200, and these total to $236,819.94.
Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Ron Souza.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Mary Beth.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Rob Heatherly.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-0. Okay, first up, paragraph G of 5 ILCS 120/2.06. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for any person wishing to address the council on any relevant subject matters concerning the city. Would anyone like to address the council on anything? Please stand and give your name.
My name is William Baird. I was just addressing the council concerning the property at 1019 West Vanderbilt. We asked the mayor and Mr. Dorchenez and Mr. Calvert where we go to object to the proceedings that have been going on with the property there, and nobody seems to have the answer, so we figured tonight, with the attorney present, maybe we can find out where we do go to file an objection to.
Well, I think George told you, and I'm sure I told you, on the 10th, on the 12th. The 12th, we told you at the ordinance committee meeting.
We filed through the ordinance committee or through a court? According to the statute, it's through a court.
You're looking at one of our ordinances that, for whatever reason, you don't want to obey or can't obey or something like that. So you wanted to explain your situation, and we said the ordinance committee would be the place where it would allow you to have the interaction between the alderman and everything else as far as getting your side of it out.
The sign says we have 15 days to object. We just need to know where we go to object.
Well, you objected on the sign there, that you had George post on the houses. I believe the verbiage says something about.
I don't think it says, I don't have the actual verbiage in hand, I thought it's like within 30 days.
Right.
Yeah, it's within 30 days. It's posted on the
And
website.
George said we had 15 days from the time he nails it up to object, to stop proceedings. But everything that he told us to do to the house, we did. And then he said, but you didn't, after we started having the garage sale, he said, well, you didn't put the curtain back up. Well, we're continuously taking stuff out, we're dealing with it. So, but we don't know where to object to.
Well, and again, I think the whole idea was getting you to come to that meeting, so George can show pictures, you can show pictures and everything else, because I think what we'll find is there's a difference of opinion. I mean, you folks think you've done something that should be okay. You're gonna have some of our aldermen that are gonna look at the same picture and say, this is not acceptable at all. And so that's kind of where we have to go, I think.
Okay, so nothing can be done to our house until after this meeting.
Well, I mean,
It's not-
the meeting will be next week, so.
I don't know what George, I don't wanna speak with George, he's not here.
No, he's not back there.
So I don't know what he said or did not say. And that conversation may have taken place before we went to the next step of posting the sign. The sign postage is pursuant to state law and state statute, and if you consult with your lawyer, then they can guide you as to what rights that you may have with respect to that signage. But as it states right now, the city is moving forward, that if nothing's done within the 30 days, what the sign says is that they send out notice to, they follow the statute, and they'll have the right to go in to demolish the place or repair it, according to law. tonight saying that they want to suggest a time frame to do what it is that the city wants them to do, that's something for you folks to decide if you wish.
Well, and that's
Right
what-
now, it's moving forward.
Yeah, and then that's what we want, have that meeting on the 12th, that way you can talk. What we were trying to make clear is that because we've had several cases like this that stop and start again, stop and start again, we're gonna keep that clock running until you folks come and convince these guys that have the power, saying, hey, we're gonna put a hold on it. Because we're not gonna be dealing with this 6 months down the road and say, okay, we still haven't dealt with this. I mean, we've had numerous properties throughout the city that nothing has been done to. And we've talked about it, and we've had suggestions done there, and letters have been sent and everything else. And the aldermen as a whole are very frustrated at the fact that we don't seem to be getting the houses cleaned up or repaired.
The property's mowed, there's no garbage, debris, or anything else like that
There's
around
still
there.
holes in the
They raise
house.
the taxes on it every year, so apparently something's right with it.
Hasn't
You
had
know-
water for 13 years.
I don't care if anybody's lived in it or not, we use it for storage for our
We quit
property.
renting it out because
But
we
we
don't
couldn't
rent it.
get it
Ordinance for
rented. It
storage
was-
too, and you have to register that, and George explained that to you.
No, George didn't explain that to me, but everybody in this town's got a garage, you don't make them buy a permit to store stuff in their garage,
But that is
or
not
in their
garage.
basement, or anything else, so how the hell can you charge me to store something in a house that I own?
Well, we'll explain that to you on the 12th. I mean, that was the whole idea.
Your Honor, for clarification.
Well,
The
they
ordinance
changed it.
I've never heard of a permit to store something.
We did that at the last meeting.
Yeah, and then just on the 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, at 6 p.m.
And it's held here,
Right here, same room, which is all,
We'll
be
be
sitting
here.
at that table.
we'll be here.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council? Alderman Walters.
Okay, so on the ordinance.
We're flying on, is anyone else out there?
All right, thank you, Your Honor. I'd just like to take a few minutes to thank my fellow aldermen for having enough confidence in me to kind of do what I did with the chili test. I was up there from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. Friday night. I was up there from probably 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. Saturday night, and 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Sunday night. We had record crowds up there, and we'll have a post-meeting in a couple of weeks, and we'll have some different figures for you. I think there was probably a couple of dozen at least chili cooks. There was anywhere from 65 to 75 vendors up there. We had record crowds in spite of the weather on Saturday. We had a number of free events for young children who brought young families back to come together. And we had a lot of fine entertainment on the north stage as well as the south stage. And one final point of interest to that, gentlemen, there was not one iota of a single problem at the beer garden tent. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, just add to that, the tournaments for the bingo toss up there went over extremely well.
Good weekend. All right, seeing no additional items on the agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Bertle, the second. Caller, discussion, comment? All those in favor? Against? Motion passes, meeting adjourned 8:05 p.m.